We often hear about finding your passion, right? Doing what you love. But what if your career, your work, was driven by something? Well, deeper. Today we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating concept, inventing on principle,
Yeah.
based on the work of Brett Victor.
Yeah, it's a powerful idea. At its heart, Victor's whole approach boils down to this one principle, he says. Creators need an immediate connection to what they're creating.
An immediate connection.
Exactly. It means you should see the result of any change, any decision, right away. Instantly. Nothing hidden, no delays.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? I mean, in practice,
Yeah.
how does that immediate connection really change things?
Well, let's take one of his classic examples. Imagine you're coding something visual, maybe like drawing a tree on screen.
Right.
Instead of typing code, compiling, running, seeing what happens, then going back. What if you changed a number in the code, and boom, the tree branch moved instantly?
Ah, right. You see it as you type it.
Precisely. Or he showed this amazing thing where tweaking a value suddenly made the leaves look like they were shimmering, like wind was blowing through them.
Wow.
It was an artistic effect, totally unexpected, that you'd probably never find if you had that long delay between changing something and seeing it. You wouldn't stumble upon it.
So that feedback loop turns coding from just like typing instructions into actual discovery. You're finding things, not just building what you planned.
Exactly. Serendipity becomes part of the process. It really shows how much creating, whether it's code or art, relies on seeing, on reacting.
And that limitation, the blindness, is huge.
Yeah.
But it's not just for static pictures, is it?
Yeah.
What about things that move or change over time?
No, not at all. It extends really well to time-based stuff, too. Think about game design.
Okay.
Instead of playing your game, testing a jump, stopping, tweaking the code, restarting, playing again, endless cycle, right? Victor shows how you could rewind the game action, pause it, change the code for, say, how bouncy the character is.
Right there in the timeline.
Yeah, and then simulate it forward, maybe even see a visualization of the character's future jump path based on the new code. Instantly.
That's incredible. So you're not designing blind, even with complex dynamic things happening. Or even abstract stuff.
Right, even with algorithms. He showed visualizing something like a binary search, seeing how the data partitions split in real time as you adjust the algorithm. It gives you insights you just wouldn't get by thinking abstractly.
That makes total sense for engineers, for coders. But you mentioned art earlier. Does this principle reach beyond tech fields?
Oh, absolutely. He makes a strong case for animation. Think about traditional animation software, like Flash back in the day, lots of setting keyframes, guessing timings.
Painstaking work, yeah.
He demonstrated animating by basically performing it. Using direct hand movements on a tablet, almost like playing music, he could whip up a whole little animation sequence in minutes.
Performing it.
Yeah, adding a little flip here, quick pan there, just because it felt right in the moment. Because the connection was immediate. It unlocks this creative fluency that's just impossible otherwise. He talks about ideas being locked in millions of heads because the tools aren't direct enough.
Wow.
Performing animation. Okay, so we see the practical power, this immediate connection. But for Victor, this isn't just about efficiency or better tools, is it? You mentioned he sees it almost morally.
Yeah, that's where it gets really deep. He actually calls the lack of this immediate connection a moral wrong.
A moral wrong. That's strong. What does he mean by that? What's morally wrong about slow tools?
For him, it's about the lost potential. It's a tragedy when brilliant ideas, insights, or creations are still born. They just never happen, or they get stunted because the creator didn't have the right environment to nurture them, to see them immediately.
I see. It's about the ideas we lose. Exactly. So he frames his own work, inventing these kinds of tools and principles, not just as engineering, but as a kind of activist lifestyle. He's fighting for a better world, a world where more ideas can flourish by inventing. It's a sense of responsibility.
An activist lifestyle for technologists. And he points out he's not the only one thinking like this, right? There are historical examples.
Definitely. Think of Larry Tesler at Xerox PyRs. His big thing was getting rid of modes in software. You know, where clicking does one thing in one mode and something else in another.
Confusing. Don't mode me in. Wasn't that his slogan?
That was it. And that principle led him to things like cut, copy, paste, making interfaces way more intuitive, more direct. Or Doug Engelbart inventing interactive computing explicitly to help humanity solve massive problems.
Right. The mother of all demos guy.
And Alan Kay wanting to amplify human reach, pushing for programming as something even kids should learn, like reading. These people weren't just solving technical problems, they were fighting for a principle against a background wrong they saw in the world.
That's a really interesting distinction. It's different from just being a skilled craftsman, perfecting a technique, or a problem solver, just meeting a market need.
Very different. This activist path is defined by a cause, a guiding principle. And Victor stresses it can't be vague, like make things better. It has to be specific.
Specific, huh?
Specific enough that it divides the world into right and wrong for you in a way you can act on. It becomes a filter. You can look at any potential project, any work, and ask, does this align with my principle? Does it fight the wrong pound? I see. It gives you direction.
That makes sense. A concrete principle is a compass. So this whole idea of inventing on principle feels like a really profound way to think about work and creation. It shows how these deep beliefs can actually shape technology and maybe even our whole creative world.
Absolutely. And it's a powerful reminder, I think, that just accepting the way things are, accepting the limitations we face, especially the ones nobody talks about, that's always a choice. You don't have to accept it.
Right. You can choose to see a wrong and work towards fixing it based on a principle you believe in. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe something for you, our listeners, to think about. What's a wrong, maybe a limitation or a frustration that you see in your world, in your work? What's your vision for how it could be better? And maybe, just maybe, what's the principle you might choose to fight for?